Welcome back to The Explainer, focused learners. Today, we're on a mission to completely decode the ultimate blueprint for covering all aspects of IGCSE Economics Paper 2. Let's be real, these exams can feel incredibly daunting, right? I mean, we all know that universal student panic when a massive 12-mark question suddenly appears on the page. But hey, whether you're aiming to push a solid grade into a great one, or you just want a clear, no-nonsense path to giving the examiners exactly what they want, you are absolutely in the right place.
Okay, here is our roadmap for the explainer. 1. Decoding Paper 2. 2. Microeconomics and market systems. 3. Macroeconomics and government aims. 4. Navigating the global economy. And finally, number 5, final exam strategies.
Section 1. Decoding Economics Paper 2, Mastering High-Mark Questions.
Now, before we even touch specific economic theories, we've got to understand how examiners actually hand out marks. Seriously, listen to this direct advice straight from the 2023 examiners. It's a massive insider secret. You see, a lot of students think they can just bag points on 3-mark questions by regurgitating a textbook definition. But while definitions give fantastic context, the actual points come from demonstrating clear reasons, impacts, or effects.
So how do we guarantee we get those marks? Well, you follow this 3-step formula. Think of this as your blueprint for scoring perfect 3-mark and 6-mark analysis questions. Step 1, just state the reason or the point for your first mark. Step 2, explain the cause or context. Literally write the word because to force yourself to explain it. Boom, 2nd mark. And step 3, explain the consequence using the word therefore to get that final 3rd mark. State, cause, consequence. It's really that simple, and it works every single time.
All right, let's scale this up to the big ticket items, the 9-mark and 12-mark questions. Both of these require a highly contextualized, two-sided argument, meaning you absolutely must explore the for and against sides. But here's the kicker. For a 9-mark assess question, a conclusion is actually unnecessary. Don't waste your time. However, for a 12-mark evaluate question, a conclusion is strictly required. Honestly, if you walk away from a 12-marker without writing a conclusion, you are quite literally leaving guaranteed points on the table.
And a high-scoring conclusion doesn't just weakly summarize what you've already written. No way! It weighs the significance of your argument. A brilliant trick here is to simply start your paragraph with the phrase, "it depends on." For example, it depends on short-term versus long-term impacts, or maybe the magnitude of a change, like the exact size of an interest rate cut. You should also consider how the policy impacts different stakeholders, like consumers versus producers. It shows the examiner you completely understand that economics is rarely just black and white.
Section 2. Microeconomics and Market Systems. Applying the Blueprint.
Armed with our new answering techniques, let's dive into some high-yield topics. Now, while we just said definitions alone won't carry a short question, defining key terms should absolutely always be your opening move in long-form answers. So, opening with a crisp definition of something like opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative foregone, instantly anchors your argument. It proves your competence to the examiner right out of the gate. We've actually gathered data on the most frequently repeated microeconomics questions seen on past papers since 2011. Notice the heavy focus here on the mechanics of the market. We're talking taxes, market economies, and drawing price ceilings. The examiners clearly love testing your understanding of how markets function, and perhaps more importantly, what exactly happens when they're manipulated.
Which leads us perfectly into one of the most common evaluation questions you're going to face. Should governments intervene in free markets? When you see this sitting on the exam paper, you need to immediately think about setting up that two-sided answering framework we just talked about.
To unlock the absolute top marks, you need that balanced agree versus disagree format. On the agree side, you explain that intervention provides merit goods like healthcare, it fixes market failures, and it curbs negative externalities like pollution. But then on the disagree side, you pivot and argue that intervention reduces free market efficiency, causes market distortions like severe shortages, and risks outright government failure. Laying it out this clearly makes grading your paper an absolute joy for the examiner.
Section 3. Macroeconomics and Government Aims. The Big Picture.
Moving up from individual markets to the entire economy, the exact same rules apply. Starting a macro response with a really sharp definition is your best first step. Say the question is about taxation or government spending, define fiscal policy immediately. It sets the stage perfectly and shows you completely understand the specific tool the government is using to try and influence economic activity.
Now, the government generally has 5 main aims: economic growth, low unemployment,
stable prices, balance of payments equilibrium, and income redistribution. But here's the thing, exam questions usually don't just ask you to list these out. Instead, they want you to analyze the fierce conflicts between them, because let's face it, you usually can't achieve all 5 perfectly at the exact same time.
You can actually see these conflicts in action in the highest yield macro questions. Take the classic prompt, should governments prioritize inflation or unemployment? If a government heavily stimulates the economy to reduce unemployment, well, people suddenly have more money, which drives up demand and often causes demand pull inflation. It's like a giant tug of war, and the examiners absolutely love testing your ability to explain it.
Section 4. Navigating the global economy. Trade, tariffs, and MNCs.
In this section, understanding the key players is absolutely crucial. Take a multinational corporation, or MNC. That's a business operating and controlling production in more than one country. So, the crucial point here is, why does this matter? Well, because MNCs frequently pop up in long-form questions, particularly regarding their impact on developing economies. You have to ask, are they bringing crucial jobs and technology, or are they just exploiting local labor and pushing out domestic small businesses?
Looking at the data for global economy questions, a really clear pattern emerges. Questions about protectionism, MNCs, and international specialization almost universally demand a balanced, two-sided evaluation. You're basically going to be asked to weigh the pros and cons on a massive global scale. Let's put this into practice and test our evaluation technique one last time with this classic, highly tested question. Should a country protect its domestic industries using tariffs?
Once again, we split our argument right down the middle. For protectionism, you can state that it protects infant domestic industries from being totally crushed by massive global competitors, effectively preventing local unemployment. But against protectionism, you've got to highlight that tariffs increase prices for domestic consumers, they often provoke trade wars through retaliation, and ultimately, they reduce global economic efficiency. Honestly, laying out these opposing points clearly and then hitting them with that golden "it depends on" conclusion, that is the ultimate recipe for a perfect score.
Section 5. Final exam strategies. Your toolkit for success.
Okay, let's vigorously lock in these final takeaways. 1. Always anchor your long answers with a key term definition. 2. Bring your answers to life using real-world business examples like Apple or Tesco. 3. Religiously follow the state cause-consequence formula for those crucial analysis marks. And 4. Absolutely never, ever forget your conclusion for a 12-mark question. Combining your knowledge of the syllabus with these exact answering structures guarantees you're showing the examiners exactly what they want to see. You now possess the examiner's formula, the high-yield data, and the proper evaluation structure. The blueprint for mastering IGCSE Economics Paper 2 is right in front of you. The only question left is, how will you leverage this blueprint to maximize your potential? Go into that exam room empowered, focused, and ready to completely conquer it. Keep learning, keep structuring those answers, and I will see you in the next explainer.